Well, welcome back to another Coffee and a Chat. I almost forgot to make my video. I was busy with a lot of different things today, and I was actually getting ready to go to bed, and I'm like, wait, Marvin. He's like, what? And I'm like, I gotta go make my video because it's supposed to come up at 6 in the morning and stuff. So yes. I'll confess all my faults to you. I just got so wrapped up in so many other things, I almost forgot to do this. And yet, this is one of the ones that has surprised me more. And God's really been talking to me about it. And it's not what I expected. So I am excited to share this with you. So today, this is part 6 of my Sabbath journey. And my point out of scripture that I want to meditate on this Sabbath is that this day is blessed and set aside. And the verse that I'm going to use for this tonight is, or this morning or this afternoon, whenever you're looking at this, is Genesis 2, verse 3, and it says, "Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made." So I did a couple things here. So I went back, got my trusty concordance out, my exhaustive concordance, and I looked up the word blessed that's used there. And in Hebrew, it is the word barak. And it means to kneel and to bless. This word is also used and translated as the word praise in many places in the Bible. So, and I remember a pastor coming to our church and doing a study on praise. And one of the things he did was take all the different Hebrew words that were translated as praise in the Old Testament, and then we went over them, and I always remembered this one, that it meant to kneel, to bless, and that is a form of praise and worship before God. And and I remember just thinking, that it's made me think of the royalty of who God is and King Jesus and all, that you would kneel in his presence and all. So I found that interesting that is the word that is used here for blessed. And then the word for sanctified means to be set apart or consecrated, which is exactly what the word sanctified means in English. And then, it says or consecrated. So then I thought, just for fun, I'd look up the word consecrate in the dictionary. And it said, and I used a really old dictionary as I'm going through. Do you see? I think this is more than 100 years old. This belonged to one of my relatives. Let's see. Oh, and it was passed on to my father. So this is and my dad would have been 94 if he was still living. So this book was, and it was passed on to him from another relative. And so this was the dictionary that my dad used when he was going to school as a kid. So anyway, the word consecrate in here said to make or declare sacred, to dedicate or devote to God's service or worship, to hallow, sanctify. And so I'm like going, okay, so there's the idea of worship coming in there again. And because I see that a lot of, what the Bible talks about really points to the seventh day and the Sabbath being a time when we worship God, okay? And so I'm like going, okay, so what are my takeaways? Okay, so this day is blessed and set apart from the other 6 days. So it's not like them. And it really isn't, because those other 6 days, Sunday through Friday, God gave them to us to get our work done and do all the things we need to do. But the seventh day, we don't do that. We don't work. It's not a day like the other days. That is a day that's set apart and blessed for another reason. And it is a day that we're to be able to really get complete rest, whatever that means. I'm still I'm still trying to figure that one out. But okay, so I started to think, as I was looking at the scripture and stuff, and I was just kind of thinking about it and talking to the Lord. So God rested on the seventh day. Okay? And he blessed it and set it apart, sanctified it, because it was the day that he rested from all the work that he had done in creation. Now, I've said this before, I don't believe God needs to rest. I think the Bible's clear on that. So why did he rest? And I'm like, to me, one of the obvious things is as an example to us. But what if his resting on that day is what created the blessing of that day? Because I'm really leaning towards that I believe the day is blessed because of God resting. That is how he brought about the blessing for the day, was in his resting, because he didn't need to rest. Okay, and so I also, because this idea of worship and the word blessed, is one of the words that mean, that is used in praise, and it is used in the word worship when we find it translated in the Old Testament, because that's what was written in Hebrew. So, is my resting on the Sabbath actually a form of worship to God? And when that thought came through my mind, I almost felt like I'm getting on to something here. I'm figuring something out, that this is something that I need to go, grab hold of. And I do believe that's exactly what was happening. So, because God began to deal with my heart and he began to speak to me. And how do we hear God speak? Oh my goodness, there's so many different ways. But I literally felt like I could hear God saying the words to my spirit. I mean, it was very clear and very intense. So he began to talk to me about what do you do on the 6 days for work? Angie, you organize them. And I think I shared that with you last week, that I've got lists, and I've got lists for my lists, and I'm always, organizing. Here's what I've got to get done today, and and so I've got to, be focused, and I need to get this done by a certain time or whatever. I have to organize myself so I can meet my goals. And there are certain things that have to be done each week, so I've got to get them done. All right, yes, I do that, Lord. I organize it, which for me, that's an important thing, because otherwise I might not get anything done. And in fact, I know there's some things I need to add to my calendar because they're not listed there. I keep forgetting about them. So, for me, how I am, I need a list, I need a plan, I need to be organized. So, is there a problem with that? No, there's not a problem with that. But what do you do on the Sabbath? Well, I focus on you, Lord, and I rest. And do you? And it was one of those do you that the answer is no, I don't. And so I'm like, what? And so he began to point out to me, so I have these things, and I have a list of things to do on the Sabbath. I do, and I didn't even think about that. I need to spend some time in prayer. I need to spend some time in the Word. I need to work on my Bible study that I'm doing. I need to work on, my word study because I'll take a specific word out of the Bible, and then I'll go through and get all the scriptures and the different translations for that word and stuff, which is, for me, it's a fun thing to do, and it helps me understand things a little deeper and all. And it's just something I do. And I even, I'm reading this Christian book right now and about end times. And I thought, well, you know what? I can even, I can put that on the list because it's still focusing on God and trying to learn and understand and all. And so I'm like, and God goes, it's the same thing you do the other 6 days. Only you just pull out the thing, because you do those on those days, that stuff on those days too. I don't wait till the Sabbath to pray and to read the word. I'm doing that every day. And so, he said, you just pull the things off your list that are focused on me, and then that becomes your Sabbath list. And once again, you got to list it, and you got to get the stuff done, and you got to be focused, and you've got to be organized. And I understood. I understood what he was saying as he was saying it. And I'm like, oh my word, you're right. He goes, you're still working. You're still doing what you do every day. You just pull out the things that you don't think are Sabbath friendly. And he's absolutely right. That's what I do. But that's not what I'm supposed to do. And he goes, that day, the Sabbath, is not like the other days. It's different. It should be treated different. Your approach to it should be different. Your attitude in it should be different. And then I was like, oh my word, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to be on the Sabbath. And he's like, but that's what you need to do. And I'm like, I was feeling a little confused, or not really confused, but it's like, I knew the truth was there, that I had just said it, but I wasn't really sure what it was that I said. And so, began to, just go through stuff. So he said, how are you feeling about this Sabbath? Oh, Lord, I feel like I really failed you, because I didn't go to my list at all. I didn't focus on that. And he goes, but what did happen on the Sabbath? Well, this particular Sabbath, Marvin and I spent a lot of hours just sitting and reflecting on how you brought us together, the things you've done in our marriage, the things you've done for us. I mean, it was really nice. And he goes, okay. And see, Sunday after the Sabbath was our wedding anniversary. So we were doing, and it was our 12th. And so we were, reflecting on what God's done in those years and how far he's brought us and all. And I think that was just kind of an automatic thing for us to do, because the next day would be our anniversary. And so God said, well, without, how do you feel about, because you think you're a failure, but how do you feel physically coming out of that Sabbath? How do you feel? Well, I'm still sleepy because I don't get enough sleep. And, I'm not fully rested because I still have to take care of my dogs. Can't expect them to go on hold for 12 hours. I mean, they still got to go out and go potty. They still got to be fed. They still, there's still, some of them have to be, are on medicine, and I have to still give them their medicine. I still have to meet their needs, which we'll see the Bible talks about that we are supposed to do that. And so, so it's not like I can just, block everything out and just go take a nap because I feel like a nap. Not if, a dog is needing attention. And so, but, all those things considered, I feel more rested than I felt on the other Sabbaths. I feel relaxed. I feel encouraged. And I started realizing that spiritually and emotionally, I felt pretty good, other than beating myself up of what a failure I was because I didn't do my list. And so I'm like going, yeah, I feel pretty good. This is pretty good. And I go, but I still don't know how to be on the Sabbath. And then it was, Angie, just be. That's what you did this Sabbath. You forgot about all that other stuff. You still focused on me. But you just sat back, you rested, you reflected with Marvin, and it was food for your soul, and you need to just be. Quit organizing the Sabbath. Quit planning it out and just be. Let me take care of that for you on the Sabbath day. So I had to laugh because I'm like, Lord, you know me. And that's easier said than done. but I get it. I get it. So as I'm looking at the Sabbath day being blessed and set apart, my biggest takeaway from it, my biggest point that I'm going to be pondering and meditating on this Sabbath is to just be. Don't be like I am the other 6 days. Don't have that same attitude, that same approach, because I'm still working. I'm not really just giving it to him. It's his day. It's a gift to me, but it is his day, and I'm trying to organize his day. So I'm kind of a little nervous, but a little excited too, because now, okay, I'm going to just be, and we'll see what happens on this Sabbath as I just be and let him do, whatever he wants to do, to deal with me in the areas he wants to deal with me, to, bring in conversations or whatever, to give me opportunities to just be with him. Not organized, not trying to meet my goals or fulfill a list, but just be. And I don't know, if you're like me, then maybe you'll get this, that I almost feel like somebody took the chains off of me or opened the prison door, that I've been holding myself hostage in. And I feel a different kind of a freedom that I didn't even know I needed to feel. So that's what I wanted to share with you this week. And if you're doing the Sabbath, and if you're on your own journey, I want to challenge you. Maybe you already got it down, and that's, awesome. But if you've been having some of those struggles, if some of this kind of sounds familiar to you, and I just want to challenge you. Just be. Just be. Whatever that really means. Simple. I've had a couple of conversations with people this week about things, and that either they are trying to complicate things, or somebody else is trying to complicate it for them, when it comes to God. And, and I got a chance to share with another person, and I said, it's not complicated with God. He keeps things pretty simple and pretty easy for us. We're the ones that complicate it. And I know this, okay, is Jesus Christ indwells me. And I've always said that as long as I've got Jesus, I've got everything I need. So he indwells me. I've got the fullness of him in me. So whatever it is to just be, he can do it. He can do it in me. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Not going so long today, which is pretty awesome. Kept a little shorter, a little sweeter, still almost 20 minutes though. But I hope you guys are doing good. I love you. I bless you in the name of Jesus. And Shabbat Shalom Shalom. You have an awesome, whether you're observing the Sabbath or not, you have an awesome 7th day, whatever your day's going to look like. And may God just bless you, and may you feel his presence all around you. All right. I'll talk to you guys again. You take care.